Hey, Joe Zarzaur here with Dr. Malone. Dr. Malone is a board-certified internal medicine physician that helps us out here at the firm. We are here today to talk in this segment about stroke alerts. From a legal perspective, obviously, the diagnosis, the proper and timely diagnosis of a stroke by physicians or other healthcare providers is really important. Obviously, if a physician or a nurse fails to exercise a reasonable judgment in diagnosing or treating a stroke, there is a potential that there's a medical malpractice case. What we wanted to talk about specifically today with Dr. Malone, though, is this concept of stroke alerts. Dr. Malone, tell us about what that is.
Well, I tell people when they ask, the waiting room and presenting to an ER what's going to happen, there's a couple of things that if a patient goes in there and says these complaints, they're probably going to get bumped to the top of the list or at least get triaged sooner than later. One of them is stroke-like symptoms. The other one would be chest pain. You may not be getting seen by a physician, but you're going to at least be taken back, seen by a nurse, get your vitals taken, make sure that it truly isn't a heart attack or it isn't the actual stroke going on. So stroke-like symptoms. The physicians, the nurses, the hospital as a whole is only as good as information is provided, so it puts it back on the patient and or the family, the caregiver of the patient, to report stroke-like symptoms, which means you need to know what they are. So it's alteration in mentation, that's acute onset, it's dizziness, it's unilateral, like where my hand or my arm is numb or weak for no reason at all, not because, I slept on it funny. The dangerous situation is when you do wake up, though, and it's unexplained, and I can't see out of an eye, I can't pick up my leg, and it doesn't go away. That's stroke until proven otherwise. And as Joe mentioned, it's called a stroke alert, and if you're being brought to the hospital with these symptoms, many times before you get to the hospital, the folks at the hospital know that you're coming and that you have a stroke until they can prove that you don't. So that's why they call a stroke alert, where you're going to get the same treatment, the same workup, top to bottom, that anybody else with a potential stroke would get, so that it's uniform. CT scan of the head, a neurologic examination, and many times you will be evaluated by a neurologist, though it may not be an actual person. It's what they call teleneurology, where a neurologist who is available, who is not even on site, evaluates you by way of internet connection, where they have a camera, they can have the nurse help examine you to determine what the best path is for that patient, whether it's medications, whether it's further testing, what have you. Again, those physicians are only as good as the information that is provided to them, so being aware of your baseline, your family's baseline, if they have risk factors for stroke, that's something that you need to provide the emergency department folks at that time.
That's interesting. I didn't realize they were doing that via internet.
Yeah, there's a lot of telemedicine going on now. Teleneurology is one of the first ones used in an emergency room setting, because a neurologist can examine a patient without actually having to put the hands on the patient, as long as they have assistance from other personnel. And some of their other decision making is based upon statistics and demographics of the patient, the vital signs, and imaging modality. So to know what the next step is doesn't mean that they have to have a stethoscope on the patient's chest.
All right. If you or anybody in your family has come across an issue where there was a question about whether a physician or healthcare provider failed to adequately diagnose a stroke-like condition or symptoms or treat it, you're more than welcome to contact us via the web at zarzaurlaw.com or 855-HIRE-JOE. Or if you just have a general question about strokes in your family or the propensity for strokes in your family and you want to contact us via the web, you can do so at the website, zarzaurlaw.com. Thanks very much.